What's up guys, Cameron here. I know it's been a long time since my last video, but we have moved away officially from tech reviews and we are all in on photography. Everything that I've learned in the past year has made me a better photographer and helped me start my own business. So it's only fair for the people who have passed down their knowledge about photography onto me. I want to give back a little bit. So in these next 3 videos, we're going to talk about 3 things that are going to just make a world of a difference if you're that type of person that is just shooting everything in auto. You might have an older camera that your dad passed down to you, or you have just a piece of crap Canon T6 or something along those lines, and you're just shooting auto all the time. Well, this tutorial is for you. So the next 3 videos, we're going to talk about that trifecta. We're going to talk about shutter speed, ISO, and aperture. So you're getting out of auto. We're going to go into full manual settings and why these are important and why you need to control them yourself because your camera is not smart enough to. So in this video specifically, we're talking about shutter speed. Shutter speed is exactly how it sounds. It is how fast or how slow your shutter is opening and closing. Now, why would I want to have a slow shutter speed? Why would I want to have a fast shutter speed? So fast shutter speed, I would consider anything over 1/500th of a second. Now that sounds complicated, but at the bottom left of your camera, you'll see the 1 and then the fraction sign, and then you'll see whatever 250, 300, whatever you want to change it to. That's the ith in the second. So it's really easy to find. It's on the bottom left hand corner of your viewfinder. So if you ever wondered what that was, so if you have a fast shutter speed, let's say you're shooting sports, you're shooting any moving objects that you want a clear still image, you're gonna want a fast shutter speed. Why is that? If you're shooting sports, especially, let's say you're shooting a soccer player, you're gonna want to have a super fast shutter speed so you can catch them in action without it being blurry. If your shutter speed is too slow, the object is moving while your shutter is still closing. That's why you have a blurry image. So a fast shutter speed keeps everything crisp, keeps your focus point in focus, and it comes out in your shot. So you might be thinking, oh, I want every shot to be like that. Well, there's going to be some times where you're going to need to slow down your shutter speed. And that is especially in low light. Now, instead of just cranking up the ISO, just like a lot of people do, raising your ISO in low light creates a lot of noise. And you don't want that in your image. So you don't want to slow down your shutter speed within reason. So the slower the shutter speed, the more light is coming into your camera. So in your viewfinder, if you slow down your shutter speed, you're going to see this, your viewfinder be a lot brighter when you're focusing on your image that you're going to take a shot of, or your subject, I should say. So slowing down your shutter speed, more light comes in. Faster shutter speed, less light comes in. So when you're at night, the rule is that you should not have your shutter speed, now this is without a tripod, we're talking handheld, you shouldn't have your shutter speed slower than the focal length that you're shooting at. So right now I'm shooting at, I have a 50mm on this Canon EOS R right now. If I were to shoot a really low light situation, I wouldn't go below 1/50th of a second. So that keeps your image at least somewhat crisp in case they're moving and so forth. So that's if you want a slow shutter speed. Now, if you're shooting, we call this long exposure. Let's say you're at a waterfall or something along those lines, and you have a tripod, by all means, play with the shutter speed, how slow you can go. A lot of people have the shutter speed to 2 seconds to get long exposure shots. So if you see waterfall shots that are really, the water is really blurry and blended together, they had a really slow shutter speed. Or at night, if you're looking at the skyline shots and the cars that are moving is like this stream, this light bar that's going across the street that's really blurry, those are long exposure shots that people take with a tripod. So you're able to get a crisp night shot and still have, you know, no noise or little to no noise because you slowed down your shutter speed. So play with shutter speed. It's going to control light a lot, so be careful with it. When I'm outside and in the open, let's say there's no trees outside, I live in Southern California, I typically have a faster shutter speed because there's less light coming in. I hate how my images get blown out when my shutter speed is too low. So ISO is at a minimum shutter speed. On a hot day where there's not a cloud in the sky, I'll go up to even 1/2000th of a second if my shot looks properly exposed and I could still see the background. Where your photos get blown out is that there's too much light hitting your sensor, so you need to control that light, and the easiest way is with your shutter speed. So I hope this really helped you guys understand what shutter speed can do and how it could really affect your images. So that's the first thing that I'm adjusting on my camera when I'm on a job, when I'm at a wedding, engagement session, and so forth. My shutter speed is going to depend on if it's day or night and if I have moving subjects.